Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to look at this tank right here. The tank with a freaking house on it. Yes, it is. It looks like a house. It is a house. Of course, we are talking about the Dreadnought. Absolutely fantastic tank. Of course, this was in one of the original battle passes. Those of you that don't know what this tank is, this is basically a Churchill gun carrier, and all the newer players probably have never even seen this tank in the game. So we're going to talk about this tank in a future video, but today we're talking about this tank. Obviously, of course, as you can see, it is a little bit taller, and of course, it has a freaking house on it. So yeah, it's very, very good. Like, don't just look at it, you know. Don't read a book by its cover, because it's absolutely amazing. The hull, 175 millimeters. In fact, the whole armor is very strong. You can bounce a lot of shots on this tank. Of course, it is slow. It's long. The armor profile is nice frontally, but when you get to the side and the rear, that is when it becomes very weak. And you don't want anyone to try and circle you, because yeah, it's a funny looking tank. Of course, it is a very funny looking tank, but you know, it looks good. It does look good. Now, the DPM 2324, we're actually running this with the rammer, just to up the DPM a little bit. Reload time for that is 7.75. Penetration is 182 on your AP and 230 on your APCR, which is why I run the rammer, because I think 230 pen for a tier 6, you're going to get through most tier 7s. There ain't too many tier 7s you won't be able to get through with that pen, so that is why I run the rammer. 50 on your HE. Now, you have a 300 alpha gun, which is very nice. 260 on your APCR and 350 on your HE. Aim time isn't great though at 3.7, and same as the gun dispersion at 0.344. However, you do have 10 degrees of gun depression with a top speed of just 26 kilometers per hour. So of course the speed's not nice, but yeah, when you actually play the tank, it does feel a lot better than it looks. Like, people will just look at this tank thinking, what the actual heck is that? What is that? Look at it. It looks stupid. But yeah, as I said, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled with how it looks, because it is a deadly machine, especially if you come out in front of it. The speed don't feel too bad, to be fair. Yeah, it would be nice if it was a lot quicker, but you know, wouldn't it be nice if all the tanks were a lot quicker? Unfortunately not. Again, I think it is one of those tanks that does perform better. Well, I know it's a tank that does perform better when you are up against tier 5s and tier 6s, because a tier 5 comes out in front of you, they will actually struggle to penetrate you. And you come up against tier 7s, they're not going to struggle to penetrate you. So it's one of those tanks. And of course, tier 7, there are a lot of tanks that are quick, so you do have to bear that in mind as well. So we're just going to try and bully this this Black Prince there, and as I said, the alpha is very, very nice. If you could try and get in a hold down position and use that 10 degrees of gun depression, it will help. Honestly, using that 10 degrees of gun depression will massively help your armor profile. So do try to get on a ridge if you absolutely can. And always try to keep a building or a wall or something to the side of you, because that will also help as well. So we're just going to back up. We know that there is a tank coming around this side, and of course it is the Panther. And I mean, look, he is a tier 7 tank. I mean, it's not as slow. The traverse on this isn't as slow as you think. And that's, even though it's a slow tank, it's still very difficult for tanks to be able to circle you, especially if you do have a building, because the traverse is actually pretty good. So yeah, slow tank, traverse is pretty good, so that does make it difficult for these mediums and light tanks to circle you. As long as you do have a bit of cover, either left or right, or even one of your tanks to protect you a little bit, it will help. So as you can see, nice bounce there from the buggy. Can we get a bounce from the smasher? No, because he's not going to look at us, which is absolutely perfect. So we can try and focus on this buggy that we keep freaking bouncing as well. So this game, we've only got 900 damage. I mean, we're not going to finish with the best of damages. What the hell? This buggy is yeah, he's annoying me. He's annoying me. I keep missing or I keep bouncing. Very, very frustrating. And now I've got to do something because I have this guy behind and he can do damage to me. So I'm going to turn, of course, classic situation. I'm going to turn. He's going to go in. He's going to come behind. And but I do manage to get that bounce from behind. At this point, I'm just like, okay, do you know what? I'm going to ignore that guy. I'm going to ignore him and I'm going to go for the buggy here. But at this point, it's a 2 versus 2. So I don't want this guy to die. Stay alive. Luckily, he does kill this Super Hellcat. Another tank that I really do love, actually, that Super Hellcat. So we now need to push forward. Luckily, the buggy is not a quick tank because we are losing on supremacy points. So I'm just going to push forward. I do have the hit points. I have the DPM. I have the Alpha to deal with this guy, even though my M4 1D is now dead. But no problem. 317 Alpha. We are just going to switch to the ABCR because we just want to guarantee that pen. So not the best amount of damages, but it just goes to show like the feel of the tank because it is a nice tank. So next up, a quicker game, but this one is up against tier 5. So we're going to play a little bit more, well, we're going to try and play a little bit more aggressive if we can. So I don't want to stay here for too long in this sort of campy little spot. I just want to see where the tanks are going because, again, I don't want to push forward and then they all push around and then they just bully me. So at the minute, while I've got a shot, I do take it and then I'm like, okay, do you know what? I can't be bothered anymore. I'm just going to push. And that is how I like to play this tank. I just like to push. Sometimes it works for you. Sometimes it doesn't. As you can see, there is a couple of guys up here. He's a one-shot. He's now gonna die. And yeah, we can just sort of try and bounce as many shots as we possibly can, which, as you can see, yeah, we can bounce. And as I said, against tier 5, you will bounce quite a lot of shots, to be fair. As long as you can keep them in front of you, you'll be all right. And people underestimate this tank. They always do. Everyone underestimates this tank. They just look at the tank and they laugh and then they're like, oh, okay, shit. Sorry I laughed at you, Dreadnought, because you're amazing. And that is what the tank is. Honestly, I would go as far as saying the tank is truly amazing. I absolutely love it. The armor profile is very, very strong. Spark, get back in. What are you doing? Get back in. Don't come up against me. Yeah, I'll let you pen once, but you should have backed up in time. And as you can see now, just 4 tanks left. I'm just going to push. I'm going to push. Nice Alpha again with a high roll. Just over 300 damage. I reckon I could have got a little bit more, but his hit points didn't allow it. And with a 7.7 second reload as well, I don't even think that's bad for the Alpha that this tank has got. I think that is pretty solid. Can we go for the HE? 369. I mean, you can't complain about the Alpha on this tank. I hope you guys got one. You know, again, it was in the Battle Pass, which unfortunately Wargaming don't do no more. And they very, very rarely sell these Battle Pass collectibles. But it is a shame. Going to finish off with the Corrupt. Nice shot there for my 4th kill. But yeah, if you do have one, play it more because it is a fantastic tank. Honestly, I absolutely love it. But as I said, in a future video, we are going to play the Churchill gun carrier, and just to see how that tank compares to this one and whether even anyone still plays it. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for a mastery badge, only a 1st class, but oh well. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. I'm meadsyreplays. Let me know what you think of the Dreadnought Lancelot. Let me know in the comments below. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.